And immediately, right, it says, look, there are two ways to train in. You can train in two ways: a simulator mode and a study mode. And so the first thing first I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a mode simulator, and it says, look, to complete your ISO 27001 compliance, you need to have access to a few individuals in the organization. And these individuals in the organization are CEO Jonathan McAllister, Chief Operating Officer Brian Whitaker, CFO Denise Caldwell, Andre Dupre, Supply Chain Manager Carl Gwen, Mike Patterson, IT Manager Priya Desai, ISO Lead Thomas Johnson, Sales Director Alina Rossi, Customer Service Manager Sarah Blake. And why do you need all these? All these individuals are going to play a specific function, and you need information from all these folks to complete your gap analysis. And this company is thinking of getting business in Europe. Remember, US is the largest exporter of soybean. And they're trying to win more European business. But to get European business, Germany, they need to demonstrate that they are ISO compliant. To win business, they need to be ISO 27001. But how do you get access to all these individuals in 6 weeks if you were to go do this work in real time? You can. And if I do /list, come back and give you a list of folks that are part of this roster and what they are responsible for in terms of signature. A strategic leader, a person responsible for final policy signature, balances a cost and EU market demands, and Maria Alvarez from floors and ISO asks to docs, procedures, all that stuff. HM manager, you're going to do all that. Right? So you got to know where all this kind of comes together, and you're going to learn a lot more how to use help and use these folks as assistants, right? Hey, I want a meeting with the CEO, and I want a meeting with the CFO. Well, right now, I can have a meeting with, let's say, Priya Desai, a role and let's say IT manager. And you'll appreciate all these roles when you get closer to your world of what's it called, compliance. And it's now, by the way, this is trying to log the event here that you are trying to switch roles from generic role to IT manager role. And so this person, Priya Desai, can help you with all the things required to gather information related to Microsoft 365, network support, all the things around multi-factor authentication, legacy, network equipment, all that stuff, and this person can. And by the way, I did not, and as you guys are going through this process, I want you to also know who is it that is working with this tool. So I would suggest that you would say team, and I believe, Chandler, you are team A, right? So I'm going to say team A. So now it's going to say, hey, all these questions are being asked by a team member from team A. So what does that do? It helps me see how you're using the tool, what kind of questions you're asking the CEO, how you're framing your documentation, all that good stuff. So now, hopefully it comes back and says, hey, you're talking to Team A, you're now working under Team A's banner. So, Priya Desai, I want to know, when was the last time you decided to decommission your NAS equipment? So, and you can get out of character. Any of these can be get out of character by saying, hey, I want to get out of character. So you're out of character now, OOC. Now I'm going to go back in the role as a CEO. So remember, I have CEO, access to CEO. Of course, in real world, you will not have access to CEO quickly, but you have access to a CEO. A CEO is going to walk you through what he's responsible for in terms of decisions. So there's each one of these roles has a personality. Jonathan McAllister likes to keep things short, strategic. He is the final approver and a signatory of the policies, and his decisions are usually based on constraints and risks. In general, the person likes to see a one-slide summary with go, no-go recommendations. What decision are you going to make? So when you switch the role, it does say Team A switched from Priya Desai, IT manager, to CEO Jonathan McAllister. The reason there's a switch, role switch. I do not know what questions to ask this gentleman. I never worked with CEO before. So let's see if I can go to my question bank and ask some questions to CEO. If you never worked with CEO, never worked with executives in the past, you have an opportunity to ask some of those questions. And not only do you do that, and it says, look, what is the budget to help IT with NAS migration? Remember, Priya did say something about NAS. Okay, by the way, Brian, CFO, has approved the budget for less than $60,000. It's ISO cap is at $60,000. Any migration will have to fit under that ceiling or be phased. What can I approve? Give me option A or B. Remember, this CEO loves options A and B. And these are required in terms of overall objective of information security. How are decisions made? Who makes those decisions? And is there a log of how these decisions are made? Because some of these could impact security. So now we're talking about overarching governance of how leadership actually works. So I'm not going to walk you through every one of these, but I think I want you to understand that there is a whole lot in there in this Compliance Studio, specifically focused on some of these. And I'm nowhere close to completing this simulator because there's a thing called, can you have an AI be sitting in this room right now with 16 of us, or 19 of us, or 20 of us, how many are there, and be able to be that subject matter expert and be providing that guidance here in this room right now, a bot, right? So in the absence of that, I can say, I want to have a round table. So I'm going to get out of character. I want to do a round table with organizational leaders on budget approval for, let's say, I don't know if it's going to work, $100,000. So it says, by the way, you need 4 people here. CEO Jonathan McAllister, CFO Brian Whitaker, IT manager Priya Desai, and general counsel, because you're asking for $100,000. So you're going to enjoy the idea of playing around, not only amongst yourselves as a team, but also trying to solve the ultimate objective. You need to get this client ready with ISMS approval so that they can go and win business in Europe. Reem.
2 things for the PECB. Are we going to be receiving that link, or should we sign up ourselves? Okay.
So you can sign up as a member, but you're also going to, when I invite you, it's going to say either you're already a member or you're not, right? When if you're a member, invite goes quickly. If not, it's going to say register first. So if you're already a member, fantastic.
Okay, and the link for the LSSX Compliance Studio, you're saying it requires a paid ChatGPT membership.
Correct.
Okay, that's it.
Correct. Yeah, the link should work if you're in general, but if you start playing around it, I think it's going to start saying, look, you need to upgrade to Pro.
Did you send that link to us, by the way?
It's in the chat.
I can't access the chat for some reason.
I can't access the chat either.
Yep, if you are marked external in the people list, then you won't be able to access chat because it doesn't consider you part of the team that this meeting is in. You need to sign in with your guest account to the team's tenant to be able to access it.
Yeah. In my case, in the meeting, I'm not able to access it, but in the Teams application, so I just minimized this. I went to the Teams application and it was there.
Fantastic. So, Reem, if you're in the Teams environment, if you just clicked on the meetings and joined, you probably don't see it, but if you're in the teams.microsoft.com and log in through that, you should see it. So there's that. So this is, remember, the whole process here, we went through a simulator mode, right? We are in a simulator mode. There's also study mode. A simulator mode, it helps you understand the things from the organizational perspective. Who is part of the organization? What kind of decisions do they make? What can they help you with? And by the way, right now, you're in a round table. And it says, what are the legal concerns related to this $100,000 request. And hopefully the legal counsel comes in. There you go. It says, my ask before approving spend, I need a clear map of one, which record type lives in the NAS, what type of information lives in your network equipment, what are the retention rules that you're trying to apply, how the migration plan preserves contractual policy obligations. Crazy, huh? I requested a roundtable and the question was for legal. It automatically came back with the right legal person. So by the way, now I'm not done yet. I want to get out of roundtable. I'm going to go out of character. Then I'm going to get into, by the way, here where we are, it keeps the history here. Hey, you explored a $100,000 migration decision. Priya flagged risks. CEO wants 2 clear options. Ryan hasn't spoken yet. He'll push for ROI math. General counsel just warned. Roundtable execution, confirmed 4-person execution, focused persona, artifacts, all this good stuff. And I'm not going to do any of this, by the way. By the next time you see, I may have upgraded my simulator. Now, I'm going to go into a mode study, right? And you can play around and what industry does Lone Star Exporters operate in? I'll probably say one, soybean distributors. I know a little too much, so you wouldn't. Where is complaint located in? And let's call it Flushing, New York. How many staff members does it have? 15. And what are we preparing for? What certification? ISO, as for the sake of conversation, 27001. So I'm going to leave it at this because there's plenty to do. The simulator is continuing to get better by the day, and but it should give you potentially a lot of answers to some of the questions related to gap analysis and completion of your project by week 6. Your ability to ask questions is based on 1, being curious, being open to learning about standards through PECB, applying them with a consulting methodology. And those that have been in consulting business, you'll appreciate it that you are always 1 day ahead of your client in consulting business. Because when you don't know, you're going to learn, and when you learn something, you're going to go prepare again to be 1 day ahead for client. I'm going to pause there for a second. This is new, right? This ChatGPT, this kind of work. Neil, you're a developer. You write code. Is that a good use?
I think it's incredible. Absolutely. I had a question just out of curiosity, if these board members or the C-suite members are capable of actually having conversations with each other as well. I feel like that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, if I build this simulator out, I think you'll have decisions that are made outside of this room also logged. So you can pull in. And the other one is if the decisions are being made outside of the room, but you're not privy to it, what is the protocol? I would love to know what the protocol is of a final decision, right? So these are things that are part of the simulator. Now, this is AI gone bonkers. And real, if I go to /book a meeting, I think hopefully it'll not only tell you when you want to book a meeting, and in real world, this is where virtual meets real. You can actually get a meeting booked in Microsoft Outlook with all these virtual agents sitting there and responding to your questions with AI voice made for each of them.
That's incredible.
Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Why? Because I can actually turn this microphone on and ask a question in English. It'll respond back, the voice agent. But it's the same voice for everybody, unfortunately. But I can add AI voice, a synthetic voice generated from all 11 roles. And you wouldn't even know if they join a meeting that they were not real people.
Sure.
I see a smile there, Michael.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, literally, when I've not hooked the action behind the book, but you can actually set up a meeting. So there's plenty there. I mean, I'm excited about technology, and I think the future is when you are able to prepare for a client engagement, right, and be thorough in for your presentation, handle all the objections and the questions that are coming back. pushbacks. And each of these personas, really, each of these roles have a persona. The persona has been created for each of these 11 individuals. There's a personality. And I do not know if I have where these people are and their backgrounds, but let's see. But there's a profile, and you can do a profile for each of them. I think there is a CEO. CEO Jonathan is an SMU grad, Southern Methodist University. He went and worked 20 years in Cargill. There's a profile of each one of these. So I'm gonna close it out, and I want to go back and start my PowerPoint presentation again. So this is your simulator, and you'll appreciate what is in the simulator when you get the vocabulary, right? The vocabulary of information security management system.